Hello everyone, this is Ekta Takrani. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
In this video, I am going to start History Chapter 3, that is Ruling the Countryside. Before coming to this topic, I will be taking you back to last two chapters. As I have told you earlier, history of this class, the most interesting fact of this year's history is, it is like a journey from the entry of Britishers till the end of British rule in India. It's a very interesting fact, and that is what makes us more excited to know. It's much related to us, and it's about near past, and we want to know how Britishers came and what they have done in our country. So in the first two chapters, what we have seen, how the Britishers came. The very purpose of Britishers coming to a country was getting money. For trade they came. In the second chapter, we have seen how the trade converted into territories, how they started establishing their control, expanding their empire in our country. Okay, so these were the last two chapters we have studied, and it is next step. It's like a series. The third chapter is ruling the countryside. To fulfill their purpose of getting more and more money, what they have done in countryside, that is in villages. What happened in villages, what changes they have brought, how the farmers, what problems were faced by the farmers, all the things we are going to see in this chapter. So I hope it is clear the idea that what we are going to study. We'll start with the event that is again connected with this last chapter. What we have seen in the Battle of Plassey. The Indian rulers, they were defeated by the East India Company. So that time they got the power over Bengal and they got the Diwani rights. So officially, what happened on 12th August 1765, officially the Mughal emperor is handing over the Diwani of Bengal to the Britisher. Who is this? Yes, none other than Robert Clive. What we have seen in the previous chapter. You can see this painting. Robert Clive is receiving the Diwani of Bengal from the Mughal emperor. So here they have got all the financial powers. Now, as they have became the Diwani, now what they have to see? They have to see all the methods, how to increase their revenue, how to meet their expenses. All the responsibilities of financial administrator is now in the hands of the Britishers. So they started planning how to increase the revenue. They were in the last years, whatever they have spent in India, they have learned that they have to be careful. It was not easy to simply control over us. In the villages also, already people are living from decades who are ruling here. They are having some power and authority. They cannot be simply removed and Britishers will take over us. They were having the fear that we have to control them and we have to be with them. So how they will do, how they will bring changes in the villages, how they will colonize the countryside, what system they should adopt. These were the things going in their minds. So what they have done, we will see in this chapter. As they have become the Diwan, now they were not ready to have a fixed system of collecting revenue. They were having a different idea. As I told you, their only concern was getting more and more money. So they were doing the trade. They were buying cotton, silk, and the spices from our country. They were exporting all the things. Okay, so they were paying us back in the gold and silver. They were not having anything which can be sold in India, so they were giving us gold and silver before. But when they got the power of Diwani, what they started doing? Our revenue, our own money they started using. Our money only they started paying us for the gold and for the cotton and silk. So what will happen in this condition? The whole economy, they were facing economic crisis. The whole Bengal economy was in trouble. Even the artisans, the peasants, all were facing the problem there. The value of their goods was going down. All the economy was totally disturbed, and it was like a fuel in the fire. What happened, in 1770, a terrible famine took place. The most dreadful famine in the Indian history that took place in Bengal. In that, about 10 million people died. They were just disappeared. Almost 1/3 of the population was wiped out in this famine. So Britishers, after seeing this, they were worried. They were not at all worried about the Indians. They were worried for? Yes, they were worried for their trade, their money, their revenue. So they got the idea that land is the major source of income. They have to work on land. They have to improve the agriculture. They have to invest on land. They started planning how to do this. There was a debate for years. They were discussing, and finally in 1793 they brought a system of land reform. This is the first system they brought. I will be telling you 3 land reform system. Please note it down. There were 3 important land reform system they have introduced. First was permanent settlement. The second was Mahalwari settlement, and the third was Ryotwari settlement. These were the 3 land reform systems. The rules were there of collecting revenue, who introduced and what were the drawbacks, what were the defects. We'll see all these points. We'll start with the first one, permanent settlement. It was introduced in 1793. So in this, as the name suggests, permanent. In this, the revenue was permanently fixed. The farmers, they were asked to pay the revenue that was fixed permanently. It will not fluctuate as per the income. First of all, what they have done, there was a link. The 3 different people are there. One, the person working on the field, farmers, then the zamindars, the landlords, those who are having the power over the land, and then the Britishers. So they have allotted this duty of collecting revenue to the zamindars. Zamindars will collect that rent from the land, and he will be paying the revenue to the Britishers. So this was the system was followed. Now, what was their strategy behind this? They thought that the revenue is permanently fixed, so there will be a confirmation that this particular income regularly will get equal flow of income after this much of time, after a particular span of time, we will get this income. So they were having this idea behind this, but it did not work. What happened? Sometimes if the revenue is fixed, they were not at all interested to invest on land, to improve the land conditions, and the condition was the revenue was extremely high. So the tenants and the zamindars, they were disappointed. They were not having the excitement to improve the land. They were feeling like the revenue is extremely high. They were not able to pay the revenue. So this leads to the efforts went in vain. They were not able to pay to the Britishers. Now, why the zamindars were not interested in improving the land? The reason was they were also not satisfied with the cruel system of the Britishers. Because even if the zamindars were not able to pay the revenue, their power over the land was also taken over. Their zamindari's power, what they were having over the land, was also taken from them. So they were also not treated well by the Britishers. So they were also not at all interested in working on the land's improvement. Then what happened in the first decade of 19th century, the situation was totally changed. That time there was a great demand of crops. The prices increases, there was a demand, and farmers were able to earn more. Now more and more income was earned by the zamindars. Before, zamindars were not able to pay the revenue. The condition was not good. But after some time, what happened? They were able to earn a good sum of money. In this condition, the Britishers were in loss, as the system was permanent. They cannot decrease and increase the amount of revenue. It was decided. It was pre-decided. So now when the income increased, zamindars were enjoying their power over the land. They were getting more income, and the Britishers were not having any option because they cannot increase the amount of revenue. And zamindars, what we have seen, they were not interested in improving the land conditions. Simply without any tension, without any risk, they were getting the money from the land on which the farmers were working. On the other hand, if we will see, the condition of farmers were even worse. The poor farmers, they were sometimes not able to pay the high rate of revenue. They were asked to pay high rate of revenue. Sometimes they failed to pay the revenue, and in this condition, they were taking loan from the money lender, and they were facing the operation from that side also. Sometimes if they failed to pay the revenue, their power over the land was also taken over. What power they were having? No power they were having. They were working on the land. So their right to work on the land was also taken over. The right which they were having from generations. Their ancestors were working on the field as farmers. So if they failed to pay the amount of revenue or the loan, their power of working on the land was also taken over. So after seeing the drawbacks of permanent settlement, the company officials also realized that this system needs to be improved, needs to be changed. So they started planning for the new system. They don't want a permanent revenue system because they cannot increase according to their needs. So then what happened in the western province of Bengal, in Bengal presidency, Hot Mackenzie, another Englishman was there, Hot Mackenzie, he devised a new method, a new system he brought that came into effect in 1822. In 1822, they started another system which is known as Mahalwari system. Mahal is the word used for a village. Okay, so in this what they are doing, the power is given to the village headman. Here zamindars are not involved. Village headmen, they are the trusted people who are working in the field in that particular village as a head. Village headman has got the power. First they asked all the areas, the land was to be assessed. They were taking a survey, inspection of the land. They were finding out which land is more fertile, which land produces more. First they will decide all these things, and accordingly they will fix the revenue for each mahal, that is each village, how much they have to pay accordingly. Okay, and most important thing what they have added is, in this system the revenue is to be revised. After a particular span of time, they will change the revenue. The rate of revenue will be changed according to time. They will survey and they will find out if the other area it is giving more, and if a particular area it is having less production. Accordingly, they will increase or decrease the amount of revenue. So this was Mahalwari system, in which revenue was revised periodically. The major difference between permanent settlement and Mahalwari settlement is, in this revenue will be revised periodically, and here the charge is given to the village headman, not to the local zamindars. This was the second system. And the third system which I have told you was, in your book, if you will see, you will get the heading the Monroe system. Actually, it was further it was developed by Thomas Monroe. That is why it is popularly known as Monroe system. But actually, who introduced this system was Captain Alexander Reed. Captain Alexander, he just used this system as a trial in a small piece of land. He just tried that this system we can adopt, and further it was developed by Thomas Monroe, and then it was just adopted in the whole of the South India. Now, what they felt, both the people, that in South India, they were not having a permanent traditional zamindars who are working on the field. They thought that the person actually who is working on the field, they have used the word ryot or a tenant. Tenant means a person who is working on the field actually. Maybe the owner of the field is different, like the landlord, but he is not directly working on the field. There are people who are directly connected with the land, the tenants or the cultivators. So they thought the person who is directly connected with land, we have to have the settlement and the conditions, the plan, the whatever we are having the agreement, we should have directly with this person working on the field. That the person is known as ryot. So they started dealing with the ryots directly. In this also, they started doing the surveys, finding out the quality of land, and then they can ask for a particular amount of revenue from the ryots. So this was the third system, we can say Monroe system or Ryotwari system. Now, what was the idea behind all these systems? The same common reason is getting more and more revenue. The Britishers thought that we will change the system, it will improve the land conditions, farmer will be more concerned about investing on land, it will increase our revenue, and we will have a lavish life. We will meet all our expenses. So this was the planning of the Britishers, but nothing went like this. It was not that smooth the way they wanted. It was not working like that. So they were thinking that it will work, it will bring us prosperity, but the conditions were not at all like this. So what we have seen, the different settlements brought by the Britishers, how it affected the life of the farmers. We have seen the permanent settlement, it was very cruel way of collecting high rate of revenue. The farmers were facing problem, they were not able to meet the demands of the Britishers. So this is what in all the three we have seen different drawbacks were there. In the further coming topics, we will see the new systems brought by the Britishers and its effect on the farmers.